All right, your next comedian is incredible. We just had her out in Denver for a couple of shows. She is headlining the Plus One Foundation fundraiser this Saturday. Please give it up for Megan Elwood.
Keep it going for Andrea and Jody. We got some moms here that look like they are just about to lose it. I'm glad we're here tonight together for this. I am in such a great mood these days, you guys. I just got married. Do you guys have time for a quick story? You don't know how much time you have. Trust me, you have enough time. Check this out. I found the cute, smart, and funny Dr. Wonderful on OkCupid. I can't believe my luck. Like, I feel so lucky. I feel like I probably found the only man online who gives a lot of drugs instead of, taking a lot of drugs. It's like finding a hypodermic needle in a haystack. I feel like I found a Fabergé egg at a garage sale. That's a tricky joke. I find that it divides the room because half of the room doesn't know what a Fabergé egg is. And the exact other half of the room doesn't quite know what a garage sale is all about. I sound like I'm bragging, and nobody likes that energy. I did get him used. Although I think he prefers for me to say pre-owned. Like, to him, he thinks it sounds classier, like we're talking about a Lexus. Do we have single ladies here tonight? Okay. Listen, go for the pre-owns. It's the way to go. They are impeccably trained. The other day I said to him, Dr. Wonderful, you don't have to always agree with every single thing I say. And his response, I know, you're absolutely right. His first wife was Japanese, so I have some really small shoes to fill. There's almost nothing I wouldn't do for this man, although lately, you guys, I might need some advice. I feel like he's getting ready to ask me if I want to play doctor. And it's tempting, because he's got the white coat, he's got the little black bag. I mean, he could do it up big, but I don't know. Playing doctor with an anesthesiologist just doesn't feel like a good idea. I mean, I think we're all pretty clear that the whole point of foreplay is not to be put to sleep feeling nothing. Playing doctor with an anesthesiologist feels akin to running by Cosby's house really, really late at night with a bottle of wine looking for career advice, Not a good idea. He did want to know if after we got married if I would be taking his name. So apparently I need to start introducing myself as Tom. It's kind of awkward. Like a good Lexus, he came preloaded with some pretty fun features. He has an RV and a townhouse. The last time I got something that came with an RV and a townhouse, I was 7. And it was a Barbie. No, that's not all he came with. He also has 2 beautiful daughters. Girls are so fun. They smell good and they They check in on us, you know. I've always been a boy mom, and so they don't check in. We have boy moms here tonight, you know. How do you think they'll find out we died? Like, do you think they'll be lining their hamster cage and somehow they'll have gotten a hold of the obituaries? Like, Ryan, I figured out why Mom hasn't been calling. It's only sad because it's true. But where that leaves us is that we now have 4 children in their 20s. And so what that means is that we are always out of beer. Anyone here dealing with kids in their 20s? Yeah. Gosh, some of you look like you might be in your 20s. If anyone here, I'm a mom, obviously, so if anyone here needs a ride home, or a snack or anything, I have some perfectly good raisins in my purse. I'm not going to help you in the bathroom, though. That was a horrible night. No, when you're in your 20s, it's hard because you're kind of a grown-up and you're kind of a child, and you don't really ever know where it's going to land, and it makes for some really weird conversations. The other day, my oldest son said to me, "Stop treating me like I'm a baby," and hell yes, I want an Easter basket. Nothing in the world that is creepier that you might ever see than a hungover, bearded dude standing in your living room, first thing Easter Sunday morning, holding a sparkly basket of eggs. I'd like to unsee that. I guess when you get to the point that like condoms and edibles and concert tickets start to feel like the right things to be putting in the basket. Probably time to just go ahead and lose that basket, don't you think? So obviously, I am over these big, dumb, smelly old kids. I want cute little kids, you know? Jody was talking about having a grandbaby. I want grandchildren. People always ask me in Dr. Wonderful if we have grandbabies, and we tell them in all honesty, we are trying. It's so sad, like, it's a really, really hard group to break into. Like, I find that I do really well with little kids and strangers, actually. Little kids and strangers. That's like my target group. And I don't know what that means. Maybe, like, to not really know me is to love me. That's sad, but that's where I soar socially. We travel all the time, and whenever we get to the airport, to those little check-in kiosk things, there's a box, and it says, "Add lap infant." And I check it every single time. So nobody's come by with a baby, not even once. We always volunteer to babysit when our friends have little kids, you know, but that can get kind of awkward because invariably the subject of money comes up and we're not really willing to pay more than like $20 an hour. We looked at our finances. That's the most we can afford right now. No, but I'm in this horrible situation. Like, I remember being in my 20s and feeling pretty daunted by all that it was going to take to make a baby. And now I have to find someone else to do all of that stuff for me. I mean, I would feel awkward asking you for your Hulu password. Yesterday, my son called and he told me that his fiance wasn't feeling well. And I said, Well, tell her I'm really, really sorry that she's not feeling well, and I hope she's pregnant. I'm always afraid one of the boys' girlfriends is going to be like, "Can I get you anything?" It's like, "Whoa, honey." Knowing me, though, I'll do that passive-aggressive thing I always do, like, no, that's okay, I'm fine. But between us, that's because I've tampered with those Easter basket condoms. No, but I am not going to feel bad asking this of my boys. It is one little thing. Well, okay, no, actually it's two little things, because I think babies should have siblings, don't you? But everyone knows moms love things that you make yourself. And let's be honest, it's not like I'm asking them to do something that they weren't going to do anyway. If I said to my boys, like, I would like for you to join me at a craft festival this weekend, that's going to get the big reaction, you know, like, oh, Mom, seriously? Are you serious? But not raw dogging the one they love. By the way, my oldest son's fiance wrote that joke, so it's totally the same joke. I know that my boys are capable of commitment because they just got matching tattoos. Isn't that cute? Yeah. Nowhere in the baby book for that special day. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that thing that moms do and act like they vandalized something that I had worked really, really hard on. You know, that's exactly what happened. What am I saying? I know now how an architect must feel when one of his buildings gets tagged. Honestly, I think that they just love the idea of buying something with their own money that they can't lose. And they have been doing these bodily embellishment things all of their lives. I mean, all the moms here can remember those times when the kids were playing a little too quietly in their room, and then you found them, and then you were sorry because they were like covered with permanent markers and stickers and glitter and stuff like that. And that was so easy to fix. You'd be like, let's get all of you in the bath. And trying to explain to my boys this time around, like, you guys, this is permanent. I hope you're happy with your little design, because this is permanent. It is forever. It's not like your name or your gender. I don't think I could ever do it. Anytime I've tried to do something super trendy in order to appear cool, it's always backfired, and I always end up destroying the evidence. And I'll tell you why. I know exactly why this is. It's because I'm cheap, and I always want to find the best deals on things. And there are just certain times in life that you shouldn't want to try to get the best deal. You know, like LASIK eye surgery. Someone just snorted. That made my life. Thank you so much. Queen, I appreciate you. No, there are just certain times you don't want to get the best deal, like, you know, legal advice or eye surgery or hot dogs. The other day I saw a story on social media, and this guy had ended up with no re-girts on his forearm. That would totally be me. I would end up with re-girts. Especially after I found out about the return policy. There is one group, however, that I think should all have ink, and that is really, really old people. And it's not just because their skin is like paper, which it is, I think we can all agree, but because they forget everything. I mean, some of the stuff that they're forgetting is like important, sometimes medically important. Like imagine your 85-year-old grandmother with that 1-inch tall, goth, Kat Von D kind of a script that says, DNR. You could do that really pretty calligraphy that says, if I've fallen, I can't get up. Do your Apple ID, Mom. I lost an entire week because my mom lost her Apple ID. That was gruesome. You could do like checklist for stroke. You could do your kids' names and birth dates. My dad could have totally used that. He could never remember our birthdays because we weren't boys. People always go, oh, it's okay, really. This is the kind of stuff that makes me get to be a comedian. So it's okay. Should be happy. Should be happy for me. I will say one thing, because there aren't too many guys here, so we can talk about them. Gentlemen that aren't here, it's okay if you only want boys. It's not okay if your daughters are aware of that. That's where it crosses the line. So yeah, these old people with tattoos. How about this idea? Let's say you didn't do the best job preparing for your retirement. You could sell ad space. When you have fallen on the sidewalk and broken your hip, that switch to Geico and save message could be getting literally hundreds of views. I think a lot of us are going to have to get pretty creative if we want to retire with any dignity at all. And I'm researching options. Let me share with you what I've found so far. The other day, I read a truly inspirational story about a 68-year-old dominatrix who's been charging men $150 an hour to clean her house. I love that so much. I could retire tomorrow with those terms, you know? I'm not gonna do it though. I mean, because nobody likes a copycat, and I can't really do the stilettos, you know? I mean, they hurt my lower back. The closest thing that I've been able to come up to with that's close to that would be getting like 300 people to each pay $20 to listen to me just rant about whatever on a stage. So, yeah, living the dream. One day closer to retirement. No, I don't even know how close I am to needing that kind of thing. I can't decide if I'm young or old. And I'm not suggesting that we break out into little discussion groups and get to the bottom of this. Standing here before you right now, I am in fact the oldest that I've ever been. But I'm also the youngest I'll ever be, see? Someone said there's a super easy way to figure out if you're young or old. And all you have to do is go out onto a really crowded public street and fall down. And then you'll know. Because, like, if people point and laugh, like, you're still good. But if they come running, like, it's your toast. It's all over. Please don't do that. You could break a hip, and I think we've already established that that is often the beginning of the end. There have to be questions that you can ask yourself in order to kind of like safely make this determination. Let me think of some. I know. Did you originally read the book 1984 as a futuristic Do you still use the U.S. Postal Service to send and receive checks. Do you still think that $20 is a lot of money? Do you follow your friends on Facebook? Or the obituaries? Don't laugh, it's true. It's true. If you don't get it, you're just not there yet. Give it time. I was at my mom's house about 3 years ago, and on her refrigerator, she had this obituary. And I said, "Oh, sweetie, did you lose a friend?" And she said, "Oh, no, I just like her haircut." If you're getting style cues from the obituaries, that should really tell you something. Have you noticed that when it's birthday cake time, they've stopped singing, "and many more"? Are you unable to date people that are older than you are because there simply aren't any? It's so funny. I just want to share one last thing, because as you get older, you get so much perspective. Like, there are things that I appreciate about my age that I just accept. Like, I am horrible at social media. Am I the only one? Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Somewhat supportive. Piece of, yeah, okay. That was a one-handed applause, but I'll take it. I will take whatever support I can get. Okay. The reason that I figured out that us more mature people are bad at social media is because when I was growing up, you could never ask somebody to follow you. When I was growing up, being followed was the worst thing that could ever happen. And it usually was the last thing that anybody ever heard about you alive, you know? The next thing they would hear about you was where the body was recovered. And people always get mad at me. They're like, "You didn't tag me in your photo." And it's like, yeah, bitch, I treat other people the way I want to be treated. And growing up, wasn't being tagged the worst thing that could happen? Like, once somebody did that to you, that meant that you had to start running, and you had to keep running until you inflicted that misery on some poor other person. It's also funny, too, because, like, there are just so many terms that are different now than they used to be. Like, when I was growing up, a browser, that was just a lady that loitered in a gift shop. And I still remember when a transistor was a kind of radio. These days, I feel like a transistor is a sibling with a big announcement. Thank you so much.